If you guys enjoy what I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it's free and easy to do. Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of Final Fantasy XIV. We cover the stories both big and small, the epic and the cute, the silly and the tragic. I hope you all enjoy the ride, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. In Ishgard, a young man left a message saying that he wanted you to meet him at the Rising Stones, and even though the guard that he left the message with said that the boy made him feel a little uncomfortable just by being there, you go to see what he wants. The boy is named Unikali, and he says he works for a friend of yours. He wanted to warn you about the growing threat from beings called Eikons. They're similar to primals, and the Garleans use the names interchangeably sometimes, but the term was used long before Garlemald even existed. It was what the ancient Allagan Empire called beings like Odin, and Unikali was about to get into a deeper explanation, but Urianger shows up and decides to take over. In the time of the Allagans, some of the Eikons were summoned and put up a major fight against the growing empire, but the Allagans came up with a way to not only capture them, but to harness their powers. They perfected their techniques at the Aetherochemical Research Facility in Azys Lla, and they sealed 3 particular Eikons away out there, Eikons called the Warring Triad. It was the power of the Triad that Thornton originally wanted, but you dealt with him before he could get it. Unfortunately, your battle damaged the restraints that held the Triad, and soon they'll fail altogether, unleashing 3 very powerful Eikons on the world. They'd likely be upset after being imprisoned for thousands of years, so it would be wise to deal with them before they get out. But there's another problem you'll need to deal with first. Ravana and Bismarck have both been summoned again, and this time they're even stronger than they had been before. If Unikali is to be believed, the 2 primals plan on going to try and absorb the powers of the Warring Triad, which would wake the things up and let them rain wholesale death down on everybody. Urianger decides to head back to the Waking Sands to prepare to deal with the Triad, while you work with Unikali on the 2 primals. He's pretty positive that the boy's not an enemy, at least not for now. The last time you went up against Bismarck, there was a big plan involving Cid dragging floating islands around and such, along with getting help from the Vanu Vanu. Unikali gives you a gemstone called the Weeping Eye of Manuk Manai that he says will guarantee their support, and he's already told Cid, so the Garlean is already heading out there to get prepped. When it comes to Ravana, the primal is in the process of bolstering his strength off of the prayers of his children, and unlike last time, they won't let you surrender to him and get brought to his lair. You'll need a different way to get to the primal, so Unikali thinks that you should talk to the vast storyteller and see if he has any ideas. He gives you something called the Burning Eye of Ravana that he says you'll know what to do with when the time comes, and you head off without bothering to ask why the kid knows so much and why does he have so many rare gemstones. The Voth is happy that you came because Ravana's followers are hunting hard for more and more Voth to temper to fuel Ravana's power, and they need you to stop him again. There's another path into the hive through a hidden aetheryte crystal, but it's warded so only the worthy can enter. Ironically, the Burning Eye of Ravana that Unikali gave to you allows you to breach the warding and face the 4-sword wielding insect primal in his much stronger form. Stronger he may be, but he's no match for you, so you bring him down and make your way back to the Voth, who are happy that you dealt with the primal, but the storyteller does want to know how you managed to breach the seal on the aetheryte. When you tell him about the Eye of Ravana, he remembers a story from long ago of how an invading tribe had torn Ravana's eye out. The Noth had been looking for it for centuries so they could give it back to Ravana, but the legends say only extremely strong warriors can wield it, which begs the question of how did Unikali get it? That's something that can be worried about later. For now you still have to deal with Bismarck, so you head to the Sea of Clouds and show Sonu Vanu the other stone that Unikali gave to you. The Vanu is shocked to see that stone in the hands of one of your kind, but that stone will cut through the wind barrier that Bismarck has shielding him if you use it on the aetheryte. Cid doesn't understand how that works, but he doesn't understand half of what you do, so he just goes along with it, which leads to you facing Bismarck again on a floating island being dragged through the sky by a ship. And just like before, you bring it down. Seeing that you were once again victorious against the primal, Sonu Vanu believes that you're the savior that one of their ancient warriors had predicted would come and save them years and years ago. That could be true, or it could just be a coincidence. Either way, the 2 primals are dealt with, so you head back to Unikali to let him know. The boy had sensed the change in the ether, so he knew that you had succeeded, which is good because he had sensed that Bismarck and Ravana had planned on heading to Azys Lla once they had the strength, and now they can't. He has a gift that lets him know the minds of primals. He's not the first person you've met who has a weird ability, so it's not something that you spend a lot of time worrying about, because with the primals dealt with, it's time to do something about the Triad. With their prison cracked, they're starting to wake up, but it's not that easy to just walk into the containment facility. At first, Unukala hadn't found anyone who knew how, but the Scions of the Seventh Dawn had someone who could do it. So with you there to destroy the Eikons, Unukala has everything he needs to deal with the Warring Triad. There's still one thing that could cause a problem. The Empire probably wants the technology that can control primals, and they'll probably send a group to get it. Them messing around in the area could wake the Eikons faster. Unukala's master wants the Warring Triad dealt with before the Empire can cause those types of problems. The Eikon Sephirot is almost awake, so you'll have to deal with that one first, so you and Unukala head to the flagship out in Azys Lla to meet up with the other Scions that he's recruited. Along with Urianger, the rest of your crew for this not-so-little mission includes Azys Lla and Krau. After the introductions, where Unukala makes the mistake of calling Krau diminutive, because we all know that's the proper way to greet a Lalafell, Unukala gets back to explaining the mission and what you're about to face. Sephirot was the god of a race of tree people who lived out in Mericidia. He fought the Allagans for them and was eventually captured. The machines that the Allagans use to keep him in a dreamlike state while they drain his ether are the same restraints that keeps him from fading away into the ether like primals usually do when they're beaten. They consistently heal him from every injury that he takes, and they'll do that over and over until they run out of power. But since he's the source of power for the prison, it would likely last forever had it not been for your fight with Thornton. Since the prison heals him, you won't be able to destroy Sephirot while he's hooked up to the machines, which means he will have to be released before you can kill him. That also means that if he kills you, he'll be free to wreak havoc on the world. Which means your group will have to split up. One team will turn Sephirot's restraints off, and the other will be there to fight him as soon as he wakes up. It's pretty obvious what your job will be since you're one of the few people who have protection from primal tempering. Krau will join you since she has the same protection, but you'll be doing the fighting, she'll just turn off the restraints. Unukala will be joining you too since he's apparently immune to tempering as well, which would leave Urianger and Azys Lla with nothing to do if the Garleans hadn't shown up. The security systems around the area started fighting them, but the two Scions head out to make sure they don't interrupt your work. And you'll need a lot of time because Sephirot at full power was both large enough and strong enough to cause the Allagan army some serious problems, which means fighting it won't be fun if you give it time to get its bearings. So the moment Krau turns off the restraints, you attack the massive Eikon. As big as it is, the thing grows even larger as the fight goes on. But giant or not, it still falls to the plot armor protected hero. Even though Krau's seen you in action before, watching you fight something as big as Sephirot had her on the edge of her seat the entire time, and the mysterious Unukala starts mumbling about what he could have done if he had your strength. Krau has that look on her face that she gets when she's about to start pulling information out of you, but she remembers what Urianger and Azys Lla are doing, so she gives her a call. She lets her know that Sephirot's been dealt with, and her distraction worked because the Imperials never made it into the containment facility. She wants you all to meet back up at the Rising Stones to plan for your next move. Since there's no chance of Sephirot being summoned again, leaving for a while shouldn't be all that dangerous. You all start to head back, but Unukala sees Regula Van Hydrus, the legatus of the 6th Legion, watching him, which impresses the Garlean. He's a bit upset that he got tricked into chasing Azys Lla and Urianger around when what he was after was so close, but he decides to withdraw for now so his forces can regroup. Unukala tries to goad the man into a fight by saying that the Garleans trying to enslave primals without understanding them makes them even more dangerous and less intelligent than the beast tribes that summoned the things in the first place. But Regula isn't interested in fighting a child, so he leaves. By then, Krau and the Warrior of Light come back after noticing that Unukala hadn't followed them. For some reason, he doesn't tell them about the short confrontation with the Garlean, which added to the mask that he's wearing makes Krau question the boy about his secrets and his motives. He's a mysterious kid, but she doesn't think he'll do anything that forces you to put a sword through him, at least not yet. Back at the Rising Stones, while there is cause to celebrate your victory, Urianger points out that the 2 remaining members of the Triad are at least as strong as Sephirot. They could be even stronger, so you need to get ready for some more intense fights. Unukala's not sure you'll get that much time to prepare, because the Garleans really want that technology to control primals, and they don't realize the level of danger they'll put the world in if they accidentally free the 2 remaining Triad members in their hunt. He mentions his master again, but he won't go into any details about him, which is annoying because it makes it hard to trust him, even if your goals are currently the same. You can't really call yourself allies if you don't really know anything about one another. That entire concept seems foreign to Unikali, but it's something that you'll have to worry about later because the Garleans have broken through the barrier that Urianger put around the flagship, so you all race off to stop them before they cause more problems than they realize. And that's where we're going to stop for today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, ding that notification bell, join the Discord, and if you really want to show your support, you can donate to the channel through the link in the description. Until next time, guys, later.